Though don't just let the next 5 years happen to you. Make sure you happen to them. Most people, they don't plan their life. They just accept it. They wake up, go to work, come home, and repeat. Day after day, week after week, year after year. And deep down, they wonder, why hasn't anything changed? Well, let me tell you why. It's not because they didn't want more. It's because they never made the shift from wishing to thinking. See, a wish says, I hope someday I'll be successful. A big difference. Wishing feels good. Thinking changes lives. Now here's the truth, and you'd better write this one down. You cannot leave your future to chance. You must design it. That's what goal setting is all about. It's not just about what you want. It's about who you're becoming in the process. And if you're serious, truly serious, about living a life that matters, if you're ready to finally stop drifting and start designing, then this message is for you. Over the next few parts, I'll walk you through the principles that changed my life. Not theories, strategies, not fantasy, philosophy backed by action. So grab your journal, sharpen your pencil, and clear your mind. Because today we stop just wishing and start thinking. If you don't set your own goals, chances are you'll end up working for someone who did. Let's begin here with something simple, but profound clarity. Clarity is power, and a clear goal is the first step toward a meaningful life. You see, I meet people all the time who say, Jim, I just want to be successful. I ask, great, what does that mean to you? And they pause. Some shrug their shoulders. Some say, I don't know, just more than this. And that's the problem. Success doesn't come to those who want it vaguely. It comes to those who define it clearly. Because here's a powerful truth you'll want to write down. A goal properly set is halfway reached. Halfway. So if you're not reaching your goals, chances are you never truly set them. Let me give you an example. A man says, I want to make more money. I say, fine. Here's $1. You've got more money. Goal achieved. Not what he meant, right? But that's the trap. We get what we vaguely think about instead of what we specifically aim for. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint. You wouldn't take a trip without a map. But some people try to build a life without a plan. And then they wonder why they feel lost. So let me ask you, real clear, what do you want? Not what your friends want, not what your parents expect. What do you want? Take some time with that question, because your future depends on it. You might say, I want to lose weight. Great. How many pounds? I want to read more. Good. How many books? Specifics make it real. And once it's real, you can build a plan. Because here's another secret I've learned. You can't hit a target you can't see, and you can't see a target you don't have. A life responds to clarity, not to confusion, not to chaos, to clarity. Now some people say, well, Jim, what if I set a goal and I don't reach it? I say, that's okay. At least you were aiming in a direction. And the act of aiming, of reaching, that alone moves your life forward. You don't have to hit every goal to win in life. You just have to be in motion, becoming the kind of person who sets and pursues goals. Because here's the truth. The moment you set a clear goal, your mind gets to work. It starts seeing opportunities it missed before. It starts filtering distractions. It starts aligning your habits, your choices, your time. All because you got clear. Think of it like this. Your mind is like a GPS. It needs a destination. Type in, I want to go somewhere, and it'll spin forever. But type in 123 Success Avenue, and off it goes. Your mind works the same way. Now, let me give you a quick exercise. One I did that changed my life. One evening, I sat down with a notepad and wrote, what do I want in the next 10 years? When I just started listing financial goals, personal development goals, relationship goals, health goals, experiences I wanted, contributions I wanted to make. And I wrote with detail. Not just, I want a car, but I want a black Mercedes-Benz, fully paid, parked in my driveway by August 15, 1978. That's when things started to change. Because when the goal is clear, the path becomes visible. And when the path is visible, action becomes possible. And action. That's when life starts to bend in your favor. So if you've never done this before, I encourage you to do it tonight. Turn off the TV, put down the phone, and write, what do I want in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? And be honest, be bold. Don't shrink your vision to match your current life. Stretch your life to match your vision. Remember, you can have more because you can become more. And unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you've got. Clarity is the beginning. And once you start there, you'll be amazed how far you can go. If you keep living the way you're living right now, where will you be in 5 years? And if that answer makes you uncomfortable, then it's time to set some clear goals. Set a goal to become a millionaire, not for the money, but for what it will make of you to achieve it. Let's take a moment and get something clear. It's not what you get that matters. It's what you become. You see, you can get a new car. You can buy the fancy watch. You can even win the lottery. But unless you become more, those things won't last. They won't satisfy. And they surely won't change you. But growth, that's different. Because when you grow, you become the kind of person who can achieve again and again, without luck, without tricks, and without shortcuts. That's why I say don't set goals for things. Set them for growth. The car, the house, the income, they're all fine. But they're just rewards. The real goal is to become the kind of person who deserves those rewards. Now listen, there's nothing wrong with wanting things. Things are great. I like nice suits. I like traveling first class. But what I really like is knowing I became the kind of man who earned it. Because the magic isn't in the having. The magic is in the process of becoming. Let me tell you a story. When I was broke and struggling, I met a man named Mr. Shof. He looked me in the eye and said something that changed my life. He said, Jim, set a goal to become a millionaire. Not for the money, but for what it will make of you in the process. At first, I didn't understand. I thought money was the goal. I thought the car was the goal. I thought the house was the goal. But then I realized a goal is not a thing. A goal is a tool to shape you. You want more money? That's good. But to earn more, you must learn more. You must grow in skill, in discipline, in time management, in communication. You want a stronger relationship? Wonderful. Then you must grow in empathy, patience, honesty, and kindness. Every real goal demands growth. And every time you grow, you take a step toward the life you deserve. So I tell people, stop setting goals to collect things. Start setting goals that demand your transformation. Because when you become more, you can have more. But the opposite is also true. If you try to get more without becoming more, you'll lose it. You'll get the promotion, but not the character. You'll gain the money, but not the wisdom. And life will take it all back, sometimes quickly. You see, the goal isn't the money. It's to become the kind of person who's valuable enough to earn it, and keep it, and multiply it, and use it to serve others. Let me give you a challenge. Write this down. What kind of person would I have to become to reach the goal I've written? If your goal is to double your income, ask, what kind of value do I need to bring? What skills must I master? What habits must I adopt? Because success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming an attractive person. Attractive in discipline, attractive in work ethic, attractive in mindset and mission. And the wonderful thing is, you don't have to wait to start becoming. You can begin now. Read that book. Wake up earlier. Study your craft. Learn to listen more, speak better, serve deeper. Because when you grow, everything else grows around you. Don't get caught up in just chasing the end result. Chase the process. Chase the daily actions. Fall in love with who you're becoming. You see, here's the irony. Once you become the person worthy of the goal starts chasing you. People will notice. Opportunities will find you. Doors will open where there were once only walls. Why? Because growth is magnetic. Now remember, things can be taken away, but growth stays with you forever. That's the reward. You may lose the job. You may lose the house, but if you've grown in skill, knowledge, and character, you can always rebuild it. And next time, you'll do it better, faster, stronger. So don't just set a goal to get something. Set a goal to become someone. And never forget this: the ultimate reward of goal setting isn't what you get, it's who you become. If you don't plan your own life, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan, and guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Let me say something right up front: wishing is not a strategy. It might feel good for a moment, but in the long run, it will disappoint you. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a wish. A wish is a spark, but you can't build a life on sparks. You need a flame, and that flame is called a plan. Most people confuse the two. They say, I wish I could lose weight. I wish I could start a business. I wish I could travel the world. But when you ask them, what's your plan? They go quiet. And here's what I've learned in my years of studying success. The difference between success and failure is often a written plan. A man once told me, Jim, I've got a lot of good intentions. I said, that's great, but you can't deposit intentions into the bank. You can't eat intentions. You can't retire on good thoughts. You need a plan. You need goals with deadlines, steps with action, vision with structure. Otherwise, your dreams will stay right where they are, locked in your mind, unlived, untouched, unrealized. And that's a tragedy. You see, I used to be a wisher. At 25, I wished for more money. I wished for a better life. I wished I could turn it around. But wishing wasn't working. Then I met Mr. Schaff, and he asked me one powerful question. Young man, do you have a plan? I didn't, he said. No wonder you're stuck. You're walking around with hope in one hand and nothing in the other. That was the day I started to think differently. I stopped saying, someday, and started saying, but when? I stopped saying, maybe, and started saying, absolutely. Because without a plan, life will drift. You'll wake up one day and realize 5 years went by, but nothing changed. Let me ask you, have you ever had a day where you were busy, but accomplished nothing? Running here and there, checking things off, but at the end of the day, you ask yourself, what did I actually do today that moved me closer to my dream? That's the danger of living without a plan. You get stuck in motion instead of progress. So how do you fix it? Simple. Turn your wish into a plan. Here's how you do it. Let's say your wish is, I want to start my own business. That's a nice thought, but it needs structure. So ask by when. Set a timeline. What kind? Be specific. What do I need to learn? Build a learning plan. Who do I need to talk to? Find mentors or models. What are the first 3 actions I can take this week? Get started now. You see, once you break the wish into pieces, it becomes real. It becomes something you can do instead of something you just dream about. And I'll tell you this, when the why is clear and the plan is written, the how begins to show up. That's how the mind works. It starts looking. It starts filtering. It starts aligning with your intention. But if there's no plan, your mind drifts. It plays. It makes excuses. And before you know it, another year is gone. Now, I know what some people say. Jim, life is unpredictable. You can't plan everything. That's true. But here's what I say. You can't control the wind, but you can set your sail. Your plan is the sail. It gives you direction. Yes, life might blow you off course. Yes, obstacles might slow you down. But if you have a plan, you can adjust. You can course correct. You can get back on track. But without a plan, you're just a leaf in the wind. So my friend, don't fall into the trap of being a wisher. Be a planner. Wishing leads to frustration. Planning leads to freedom. You can wish for a better life all day long. But unless you design that life, it's not going to happen. So today, take your biggest wish and write the first draft of your plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it on paper. Because the moment it's on paper, it becomes real. And that's the beginning of true transformation. Without a plan, even the best intentions fade. But with a plan, Even the smallest dream can become unstoppable. Don't just think your goals. Don't just speak your goals. Write them down. That's where the magic begins. Let me tell you something I learned early. The weakest ink is stronger than the strongest memory. And that's why I tell people, don't carry your goals in your head. Write them down. Because when you write it down, you begin the process of turning thought into reality. Now, someone might say, Jim, I've got goals. I think about them all the time. Well, I say, great. Now show me your notebook. And if they don't have one, chances are they don't really have goals. They just have wishes floating around in their head. And we already talked about that in part 3. Wishes without plans are just delays in disguise. So here's what I want to share with you today. There is something almost spiritual about the act of writing down your goals. When you take a blank sheet of paper and begin writing in your own hand what you want your life to look like. In a year, in 5 years, in 10, that's no longer just daydreaming. That's intentional creation. Now, I want to be very clear on this. Writing your goals doesn't guarantee success, but not writing them almost guarantees failure. You see, the mind needs direction, but it also needs reinforcement. When you write it down, you anchor it. You create a sense of commitment. A man once asked me, Jim, how did you change your life? I said, the first step, I bought a journal. What? And he looked surprised. But that's where it started. Not with money, not with status, not with opportunity. It started with paper and pen. I wrote, here's what I want. I wrote, here's where I'm going. I wrote, here's what I'll do daily to get there. And you know what happened? Something inside me began to change. I no longer just wished for things, I was working toward them. Because the written word carries power. You want to improve your life. Here's one of the most practical steps you can take. Start a goals journal. And in it, write 3 things regularly. What do I want? Be specific. Don't write more money. Write, I will earn $10,000 a month by December 31st, providing consulting services. 2, why do I want it? What's the reason behind the goal? Is it for freedom, security, impact? The why will keep you moving when motivation runs dry. 3, what am I willing to do to get it? This one's important because goals without sacrifice are just empty dreams. You see, the act of writing teaches you something valuable. Success is not accidental. It's deliberate. Now let me give you a rule I call the 72-hour rule. If you set a goal and don't take some kind of action toward it within 72 hours, chances are you won't take action at all. Writing the goal down is your first action. It's the seed, but you must water it daily. Look at it every morning. Review it at night. Carry a copy in your wallet if you must. Because repetition is the mother of skill. The more you see your goals, the more real they become, and the more your behavior aligns to make them happen. Here's a little secret: most people never write down their goals. And of those who do, most don't review them regularly. So if you do, you're already ahead of 90% of the world. Think about that. In a world full of distractions, be the one who pulls out a pen, grabs a notebook, and writes, here's the life I'm going to build. There's something noble about that. Something intentional. Something rare. Because while others drift, you design. While others wish, you plan. While others forget, you write it down. And that's the act that changes everything. Let me leave you with this quote. Write it down if it resonates. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And writing goals is how you begin becoming that person. Start writing. Your future self is waiting. Let me share a truth that changed everything for me. Thinking is powerful. But action is transformative. You can dream big. You can write it down. You can imagine the future in vivid color. But if you don't get up and do something about it every single day, it stays a dream. You see, the world doesn't reward wishers. It rewards doers. Not those who hope, but those who act. So here's the question I want to ask you. What are you doing today to move closer to your goals? Not tomorrow, not next Monday, today. Because success is not one big leap. It's 1,000 little steps, repeated, daily, with intention. I tell people all the time, if your dream is big, that's wonderful. But if your actions are small, it'll stay in the clouds. Now let's get practical. Here's a concept I call the daily action plan. And it's simple. Every night before you sleep, plan the next day. Just ask yourself, what 3 things can I do tomorrow that will move me closer to my goal? Only 3, not 30, not everything, just 3 that matter. Write them down, put them on your desk, tape them to your mirror, put them in your pocket, then do them. Before you do anything else, let me tell you why this works. You see, when you write a goal, you create clarity. But when you break it down into daily actions, you create momentum. And momentum is what gets results. Because every day you complete those small tasks, you prove to yourself, I'm serious. I'm capable. I'm consistent. And those small wins, they build confidence. They build discipline. They build the future. Now, some people wait until they're motivated to act. But let me tell you something, motivation comes and goes. But discipline stays. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And that's why I say fall in love with the process, not just the result. If you want to lose weight, don't just stare at the scale. Fall in love with the walk, the salad, the sweat. If you want to build wealth, don't just chase money. Fall in love with learning, with budgeting, with improving your value. Because it's not one giant leap, it's the daily walk, one step. Then another, day after day after day. Now I want to share something else with you. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And failure. A few errors in judgment repeated daily. That's the difference. It's not talent. It's not background. It's the daily disciplines. So let me ask you again, what's your daily action plan? Is it written down? Is it focused? Is it built around your most important goal? Because if it's not, you're leaving your life to chance. And life doesn't reward chance. It rewards intentionality. Here's a quick example. Let's say your goal is to write a book. Now thinking about it won't write the book. Dreaming about it won't write the book. Even buying the laptop won't write the book. But if your daily action plan says, write 500 words today, and you do that day after day in a few months, guess what? You've written the book. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's consistent daily effort. That's the secret. Now listen, some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel discouraged. Some days you'll want to quit. But that's when the plan matters most. Because the plan pulls you through the emotion. Let your plan guide you, not your feelings. Let me give you one final piece of advice. Start early. The morning hours are precious, quiet, clear, focused. If you knock out your daily actions before noon, you'll walk into the rest of your day with power, with confidence, with momentum. So don't leave your day to chance. Own it. Design it. Because when you wake up every day with a written plan, you go from thinking to doing. And when you do that, my friend, your life will change. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. And your direction is decided by your daily action. So take the step, then the next one, then the next one. And before you know it, you're living the life you used to only write about.